Annabelle, over the years, we have done a few things with you. I know you were back here in Las Vegas. I think it was last year, if I'm correct.
Remind me of the venue.
Oh, gosh, was it? I know. Oh, I can't remember.
I had to eat this morning.
It was an 80s show. I know, and I can't remember. But, yeah, I can't remember the venue.
Was it Totally Tubular dates? Or it must have been Totally Tubular, I'm thinking. Or was it with another age? I'm sorry.
It's okay. You don't need to know. I know. You guys are a blast. And if anyone has...
I wasn't worried. If it was someone wearing leotard and skinny tights and a big black hat, that was not me.
No. This was you because it was billed...
I can assure you.
I was very excited because it was billed with your name. You are the original. You are the original.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I helped to create the music, so I hope so.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
I want to mention, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe you started out at like 13, 14 years old.
No, this is always so funny because everyone always asks me this question. Obviously, over the years, it's understandable. So I was working in a dry cleaning establishment. It's not the place you go in to do your, watching the machine go round and round with your dirty socks and knickers. If that's okay to say.
Yes, of course.
It's a place you go in and you drop your clothes off, like people do, mainly shirts, a lot of shirts given to us, for businessmen, and also, lovely gowns for evening wear and stuff. But it was a very nice environment because my boss was awesome. He was an Irishman and he was such a lovely man, such a lovely chap. And I remember... I had to get a job because I needed to get some pocket money. My mother had 4 kids to bring up on her own. Oof. So naturally, she was a working nurse. So that's how I went up the road and I saw a sign in a cake shop actually. But the long story short of that is she got me the job at the dry cleaners and the rest is history, I guess. But yeah, I was 13 and a half. And then at the end of the year, because I'm an October baby, I had a birthday. And then I turned 14, but I already met the band. I just met the band before I turned 14. That's when I auditioned.
Wow.
So dry cleaner, by the way, first job, band second job?
My first... Wow, that's an interesting question. I've never had that put to me before, but I guess so.
That's amazing. See, now my first job, I worked at Sam Goody, and I was selling CD singles and stuff like that.
Right. You were selling Bow Wow Wow.
I was selling Bow Wow Wow. Bow Wow Wow. You guys had the first cassette single.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's Malcolm McLaren. He was a brilliant ideas man. It was his idea, like the Déjeuner l'herbe, because he went to Paris. And I don't know if you know about French painters or anything like that, but he was a connoisseur of artwork. And obviously he had traveled the world by then quite a bit. But it was his idea to do something on a cassette. And we had a lovely graphic artist called Jamie Reed. He was a lovely, lovely man. He reminded me of Brian Ferry, actually. Anyway, point being, he was just a lovely chap. And Malcolm came up with the cassette idea for some unknown reason. He came up with this idea that he thought would help, establish us. But of course, it wasn't an album because there were too few songs on it, and it was obviously, more than one single. So the first single, C30, C60, C90 Go, was from the cassette pet, which was the whole idea because he was all about themes and, big ideas like that.
That's
to make
so
a difference,
cool.
I guess.
And now cassettes are coming back.
Yeah, they are.
Somehow, I don't
good.
understand this.
Yeah, I know.
Good to know. Can they make the cassette cases, please? Because I've got tons of them.
Yeah, I do too. I wish I could just recycle those, Annabella. I wish I could just.
Awesome.
Right?
I know, it's so annoying.
Oh my God.
And I've got stuff on cassettes that I need to transfer to other genres. But anyway, that was back in the 80s. Yeah.
That is so cool. I have to ask you because you guys were, the 80s, of course, the whole, that was the whole MTV scene that we eventually got into. Was that a good thing for you? Was MTV a good thing for Bow Wow Wow?
MTV were absolutely wonderful to us and about us because they'd always play our videos. On the radio in England, we had this situation with because Adam and the Ants had just come out with Dog Eat Dog,
Yeah,
which is an interesting single. And we had C30, and of course our song got pulled from the charts because the company that released it found out it was about home taping. And long story, but basically Malcolm obviously was always trying to stir up some controversy. And I was already doing that anyway. I mean, let's face facts. When you're a schoolgirl and and you're working a part-time job, you need to be reasonable with your finances. Let's put it that way. And I ended up, doing what the single was all about. So I think Malcolm must have found that quite hilarious.
That's great.
When I was in the studio recording it with him, giving me some guidance and instructions on my first ever performance in a recording studio, which was Abbey Road Studios in London.
Wow, that's cool.
Wow, that's cool right there.
It really was. Yeah.
I talked to, and this was a couple of years ago, John Taylor from Duran Duran. And he said, kind of like you, he said, like MTV, there was something happened with MTV. He said, and then of course we had to do videos and it was just, everything was larger than life, but we were exposed. Now you could see your favorite artists, good, bad, or indifferent, but it changed the face of music entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said
it did.
Yeah, he said we're singing, we're a band. Next thing I know, we're out on a boat shooting a video. I've never, wearing the weirdest clothes. But yes, you know what I'm talking about.
I second that. I had to go on a motorbike to do Baby Oh No, which I'd never been on. I was absolutely petrified.
See, now, if you fell off that motorbike, that's how you get on MTV today. You get on the blooper show, and that's it.
That is very true.
The whole VJ revolution was because of MTV, too. I don't know if the youngsters that do that know that. But I am aware that, it's a shame there aren't more stations. I'm so sad to hear that they shut down.
Yeah.
I don't know for what reasons, but really we needed that MTV
to
continue because they were just an institution as well as a wonderful group of people that all worked towards helping artists be discovered that weren't heard of, from all over the world, because that's pretty much what happened. Yeah. They helped us get discovered through the video rotation for our singles.
What a time. I have to ask you, Annabella, so now here we are, 2026. Who are you? What new artists are you listening to? Is there somebody out there or a couple of them that you've listened to now and said, wow, yeah, that's pretty good?
Gosh, that's a difficult question because I hear songs on the radio. I'm all about songs. And I'll hear a song. I think there's a group called Sailor. Am I right in saying that?
Right.
Or Star Sailor. There was a great song they had out, Star Sailor. But I have to be honest, I haven't heard anything that I go, wow, that's amazing. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's some techno stuff, but I'm not really, up on all the techno because that's more Europe style techno music.
You got to come here to EDC and rave.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
You got to come to a rave here in Las Vegas.
Oh, do you do raves in Las Vegas?
Oh, my goodness. Electric Daisy Carnival. You'll have yourself a time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me! Well, I went to a few raves when I was a bit younger, back in London, of course, because that's where it used to be. It used to be secret raves back in my day.
Yeah.
They used to have to wait to get the address because apparently the cops would have to go and shut it down because it was too loud, and it was usually in a big warehouse in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Wow, that's cool.
But it was, but now I guess it's more organized. But I mean, Europe's huge with that scene and the dance scene in particular, which is where all the groups that have dance routines come from. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
The boy and girl bands, that were put together by the record moguls to have their next hit from a very young looking group of people to appeal to the younger generation, which I think is kind of sad because, us oldies, the ones that have been around for 45 years, we still have a lot to offer. Hopefully, through our songs and performance, that will shine and show through.
Yeah.
You know what? It's going to be a random TikTok or something like that.
It is.
Honestly, that's the way it happens now.
We were actually, Shawn and I talk a lot about, I think we both enjoy good music. But I think, music like Bow Wow Wow, music like Thompson.
Sly and the Family Stone.
Yes. There's music that is timeless. Yeah, B-52s, who I absolutely love that music. There is music that is just timeless. You hear it now.
English beat.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
And you hear it and it's cool.
And of course, Thompson Twins and Thomas Dolby. I mean, the fact that songs can still stand the test of time after 40-odd years, I think that's kind of remarkable, don't you?
Oh, I absolutely. Every time I hear, and they are one of my favorites, Depeche Mode. Every time I hear a Depeche Mode song, it sounds fresh. It sounds fresh. You know?
He certainly looks a lot better now than he used to, I have to say.
Doesn't he?
I remember when he was very, very skinny. But anyway, that's a long story. Yeah. We met a lot of them when they were young men. Let's put it that way, young boys, I call them.
Well, who do you look at from that era? I want to know who you know, of course, Depeche Mode, Thompson.
I look at the hairstyles. No, only kidding.
But I get that.
I just love everything about the 80s. The 80s were great because of many, many reasons. I can't answer all of them. I'm sure the fans would be a lot more versed than I am. But I'd have to say the things that stick out to me were the eclectic mixes of music.
Yeah.
And they were original musicians with original music. They weren't copying anyone else. They were doing their own thing in their own group. And they had their own style and their own look and their own, hairstyle.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't know what it is today. It seems to be a bit more homogenous. I don't know if you found that. Everyone starts to look the same, sound the same. Nothing, like I said, in answer to your other question, nothing really jumped out at me. I mean, I went to see a group, in London one time at a pub, and they were playing quite a famous pub called the Water Rats in London, Islington. And I saw this girl with a bald head, and she was African looking. And then suddenly she was like jumping and bouncing around, and she actually was very punky and very rocky. And her group were very energetic, and it turned out to be a group called they were called Skin. Well, she was called Skin, but it was called Skunk and Nancy. And someone had suggested I go see this group because they went, this is a group that's going to go somewhere. And of course, the rest is history with that. But I do know that a lot of them, when they start to think about retiring away from the music scene, which I find hard to believe because music is never something you can retire from. It's always in your blood. It's always in your veins, isn't it? It's
something
Love to hear that. Keeps us young, actually. All of us, not just people in the industry, but people outside of it too, and takes us back to those moments in time that we can never get back. I think that's what's so special about the 80s as well.
God, you are right about that. I just have one last question for you. When, during that time, who stands out as far as being really an influence and really good to you guys when you were on the road?
Chrissie Hynde from the Pretenders.
Ah, that's cool to hear. Yeah. That's great to hear.
What an amazing lady she is. I would love to see her again. It's been yonks, that's all I can tell you. But she was one of the nicest. And also Alana from Thompson Twins.
Oh,
she came in to borrow some ribbons for her hair because she saw that I was wearing some braids. But there was a lot of competition as well, I noticed back in the day, especially with other females, it seemed. And I was quite young, so I kind of didn't get it. I didn't understand what was going on. I was just, enjoying doing what I did and love, obviously, singing and music. Because I got hooked on our first song, my first audition with, he's now deceased, the guitar player Matthew Ashman, and he died in 1995. So it was never the same after that without him. But I've continued, and I'm hoping that I fly the banner of Bow Wow the best way I remember and know how, with a group of musicians that are helping me to present that. And also, I've, obviously as a songwriter, I've developed over the years. You can't, expect to not hear something new, every so often from the artists that continue to write material. Record labels get a bit. What's the word? And I know this because I was signed to a few. They get very concerned if you want to do something that's outside of the arena of what they remember.
There we go. They seem to be a pain in the butt.
So I would go, okay, obviously you're not the right label for me. So I would walk out.
Oh, my God.
You need a label that's going to understand. One day you're going to open another dry cleaner.
Right, yeah. Yeah. You know.
No, I will not. I'm not Chinese.
Right?
Sorry.
It's funny.
A bad reference.
Oh, my God.
Why are a lot of people who have laundry places Chinese people? I don't understand that. Maybe they can explain that to me one day.
That's too
But
funny.
I would just like to say thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing some old and new faces on Friday. I hope we get some people with open minds and open hearts, and just to come out and have a fun time with, a little walk down memory lane and back up again.
Well, you guys are a blast. Please, Bow Wow Wow has not missed a beat. Going to be over at the Tuscany Friday night. Definitely go check out this show. Free parking, by the way. That's a big deal in Las Vegas. And I'm going to tell you something, Annabella. My dad was in a band, like a doo-wop band here from in the States. Detroit they were out of.
Now you're talking about real singers.
Yes,
Well done.
3-part harmony. And my dad was on keyboards. And he played almost until the day he died at 88 years old, which he said was appropriate because there are 88 keys on a piano.
Oh, wow.
He was gigging. He was playing in jazz clubs. It never leaves you. When you are a musician, when you are a singer, it never leaves you. And by the way, he used to tell people, our label, the first label that screwed us, that was Mercury. So there you go.
Well, yeah, you got to remember the labels, are not like they used to be.
No.
They're all going through their own. I think the big conglomerate labels are doing a lot better, but it's the indie labels.
Yeah.
I actually really, really applaud and admire the indie labels.
Agree.
Yeah. And I was approached by one a few years back, but the bottom line is there's not enough money with recording costs, and you got artists like Taylor Swift, Rihanna, and people like that signed to major labels who spend tons of money on their publicity and everything else. Yeah. And that's all wonderful, but it's unfortunate that the other groups and musicians get overlooked just because there's not enough money in the pot to spend.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you are wonderful. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Again, Tuscany this Friday night. Bow Wow Wow. Go see them. It'll take you back.
And we will be on around 8:00. So
Excellent.
we need to, and apparently there's no other band. So
Good.
Unfortunately we won't be able to see another band before us. But we do hope that they'll come out dressed up and raring to have a good time.
There you go. Annabella Lwin, thank you so much. Bow Wow Wow, thank you for being around for so long. You were a huge part of my 80s, and that's another whole story.
Thank you. Much
Thank you.
appreciated, you guys.
Beautiful
Have a wonderful
day.
rest of the week, and maybe we'll see you there.
Sounds
Yes.
good, Annabella.
Take care.
Take care.